What's going on, everybody? It's Stas here. Welcome back to another video. So the stock market did pretty well today. S&P 500 up 0.7%, Dow Jones up 0.5%, the Nasdaq 100 up 0.8%, and the Russell 2000 ended up going up 1.7% on the day. And today we're going to be talking more about the stock market, breaking down some technicals, going over a bunch of stocks to buy now, and I also want to share with you guys what I did in the stock market today and in general where my head is at as a trader and as an investor. So if you guys find value, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, join the Discord chat and the Facebook group, get your 4 stocks from WeBull, and also get yourself $30 free from M1 Finance. All of those are linked right down below. So let's get into it. And by the way, guys, if I do sound a little bit off, I have a bit of a cold. I thought I had the you-know-what, so I got a CV test this morning. Thankfully, it came back negative, but I still feel a little bit under the weather, so that is why I sound a little bit off, congested, and not my normal self. But I still figured, hey, I'm still decent enough to make this video, so here it is. So S&P 500 ended up going up 0.7%, and we can see here, and you guys saw in yesterday's video, we mentioned this, and today we continued within this channel. We mentioned yesterday the channel here on the 2-hour chart. You guys can see the uptrend channel that we actually held after the big sell-off yesterday. And if you guys remember, the S&P 500 went down from top to bottom in yesterday's session about 3%. So 3% was a pretty big pull down there, and we actually held that channel yesterday. We sold off and held it for the second half of the day, and the fact that we rallied up today, went up 0.7% and continued in that channel on the 2-hour chart, that is a very good sign for the bulls, right? And of course, if we were to break this channel, if we gapped up or gapped under it today, that would not be too great of a sign for the bulls. But the fact that we're still in this channel, that is great. And who knows, we might be gunning for all-time highs again based on what these technicals are telling me. And I'm sure you guys would agree with that. And let me know if you do down below in the comment section. So very strong days today for the S&P. And for tomorrow, and honestly for the rest of this week, I'm going to be continuously watching this channel to see what we do. Are we going to be, well, because at this point, we're in the middle of the channel. Are we going to push for those all-time highs, or are we going to fail right here? And mind you, this is actually a big resistance from a couple of trading days ago. And actually, now that I'm looking at it, we're right around that resistance, right around 37.26. Are we going to hold this? This is actually an old all-time high from a couple weeks ago. Are we going to hold 37.26 and push for that resistance of the channel, maybe for another all-time high? Or are we going to fail at 37.26 and start going towards the support of the channel and maybe even break it, which obviously, again, like I said, that wouldn't be good for the bulls. So watch out for this channel on the hourly chart, on the 2-hour chart, and you guys can see it as well on the 4-hour chart. And if we were to take out the support of the channel, that is where we would be getting to this 180 SMA. And I've said if we get to that point, that would be a pretty healthy spot in my opinion. And honestly, the markets need a correction, and it seems like they don't want to correct quite yet. So we'll see, guys. We'll see. Keep an eye on this channel on the 4-hour chart. And when it comes to the Dow Jones Industrial Average, what we're seeing here, if I zoom in on the hourly chart, and I've talked about this a lot on the channel, but what we're seeing with today's pop-up up 0.5%, we're yet again out of that resistance at 30,250, 30,300, which was a resistance plaguing the Dow Jones for most, if not all, it was actually most, of December of 2020. We were struggling right under 30,250, 30,300. So the fact that we broke out of that, we're now close to that all-time high. We're about 200-300 points under it. And in general, we're out of that resistance. That is a very good sign, in my opinion. So in the short term, we're not quite out of the woods yet. There's actually another resistance coming up here at 30,500 at 530, right around there. And actually, we got rejected there today. If you guys take a look earlier in the day at about 2:30 p.m. on the East Coast, we actually got rejected at 30,500, and we ended up closing the day on a little bit of a downswing, but I'm not too worried about that because overall, the little uptrend from today and half of yesterday, as you guys can see here on the intraday chart, it is still intact. So for the Dow, watch out for this little uptrend if it remains intact. And on the hourly chart, watch out for 30,530. If that breaks, we're probably going to be going for that all-time high. And taking a look here at the Nasdaq 100, this is looking very good for the bulls as well. With yesterday's pull down, the Nasdaq 100 lost about 3%, same with the S&P, but we ended up holding the 180 SMA on the hourly chart at a higher low. We popped heading into the close yesterday, and today was another great day, up almost 1%. We saw another push up, and now we're trading right under the 50 SMA and right under a big resistance at about 12,800. So this is going to be interesting. I think if we break 12,800, the 50 SMA here as well on the hourly chart, this is one that could gap up to maybe 12,900, maybe back up to all-time highs at 12,950, and maybe just maybe back to that, or not back to that level, to that brand new milestone level of 13,000. So watch the hourly chart, guys. Pretty much on all the indexes, the hourly chart at this point in time is very important in terms of determining direction, at least in the short term, right? So that's the overall market update. Let me know your thoughts down below in the comments section. Are you guys enjoying the video? If so, hit the like button, and let's talk about what I did. And like I said earlier, guys, today I wasn't feeling so great. So I actually wasn't too much on the charts. I wasn't too active in the Discord chat. And honestly, I was in my bed for a lot of the day. I woke up feeling pretty crappy, and I'm not making excuses. I'm just telling you guys how it is. I don't feel too bad often. I mean, I don't get sick all the time, but when I do, it seems like I get really sick. And hopefully this is not going to be a prolonged sickness. But I woke up, didn't feel so great, felt kind of crappy, headache, congestion, throat hurt, all that good stuff. And then I thought I had the CV. So I went, got the test, came back negative, and now it's about 4 or 5 p.m. on the East Coast, and just now am I starting to feel a little bit better, but I'm still, a little bit congested, nose running, so I figured, hey, I can still make the video. But earlier in the day, guys, honestly, I'm not even joking, I couldn't really do much. I could barely talk, and I don't even know how I'm talking right now, but needless to say, I didn't trade today, guys. I didn't trade, and I'm not mad about it because yesterday I had a pretty solid day, and I could have opened up some positions. I mean, I was looking at charts a little bit. I was actually eyeing up SBE as well as Open, which we'll cover later in this video, as well as Square as well, but I didn't pull the trigger on any of those, and I'm just simply sitting on cash, right? And I've mentioned before on the channel, over trading or forcing a trade is just not the best thing to do. In fact, it's one of the worst things to do. So I figured, let me just take the day off today. Let me just cool out a bit. Let me try and get better, compose myself, and hopefully tomorrow, the next day, I feel better. So overall, that's what I did, guys. Didn't do much of anything, holding on to my cash. I have some positions open, SLV and Workhorse, but other than that, I'm simply just hanging out in cash. So let me know your thoughts down below in the comments. What did you guys do today? It was a solid day in the market, so I probably did miss some opportunities, but it's okay, guys. It's okay. Sometimes your health is more important than trying to go make money every day, or your wealth, right, in terms of the monetary aspect. So I took a day off today. And again, let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. So now let's talk about the top stocks that I'm actually watching for the rest of this week, and maybe that I'm looking to buy into maybe tomorrow, the next day, maybe next week, depending on how things turn out. And stock number one, you guys can see here, is Opendoor, ticker symbol OPEN. And this is actually one we've been talking about on the channel. We've mentioned it a couple times here as it's been collapsing from its $33 all-time high. You guys can see it actually got down to about $21 in the past couple of days, which from the top, that's a drop of 35%. So it dropped a good amount. 35% is nothing to sneeze at. And overall, we recovered. We ended up recovering on top of that 180 SMA on the 4-hour chart, which I've been talking about, right? I've been saying, guys, take a look at the 180 SMA support here as well as the old resistance at $23-ish to act as an upcoming support. And what do you know? Yesterday, we held that level. You guys can see it here, 5-day, 5-minute. And today, we really solidified it as a new support, which is great. We can see today it's up over 6.6%. Great day for Opendoor, but it's not out of the woods yet. I see a big resistance coming up, and you guys can probably see it as well, right around $26 to about $27. That was a resistance back in the middle of October, back in the middle of December as well. We also struggled there earlier last week, I believe, well, towards the end of December as well. And now we're right at that level again, $25.70, $26, $27. So I'm not too comfortable buying into Opendoor here, but the second it breaks 27, 28, I think it's off to the races. I think that could be a great entry point, probably around 27.50. So I'm going to set an alert here on Opendoor, probably around, I'll put it at 27. So if we do break 27, I'll be able to get in and watch it. Well, not even get in at 27, but start to watch the momentum to maybe get in at 27.50, 27.25. So Opendoor is one I think has some potential. And let's take a look. I mean, from $28, let's say we were to get in and we rode it back up to 32, that's about a 14% move. And past all-time highs, we're talking 15 to 17% plus of a move here that we can grab. So I think Opendoor is definitely worth watching. And stock number 2 here is Nvidia, ticker symbol NVDA. This one went up over 2%, 2.22% to be exact, up over $11 on the day. And this one's finally showing some bullish momentum, right? We're slowly starting to break out of this wedge on the 4-hour chart that honestly, I've been watching Nvidia in this wedge. It seems like months. I mean, it's been months that we've been in this. You guys can see it here ever since pretty much September, October, we've been trading in this wedge. And in fact, yesterday, if you guys saw what happened yesterday, Nvidia saw a big move. It went from 520 to 546. It broke the wedge. That's where we started to get some momentum initially, but we ended up selling right back down from 546 down to about 520, giving back that entire gain pretty much, and we coasted for the rest of the day yesterday. But today, a new day came around and we ended up going back over that 530 resistance, that wedge resistance on the 4-hour chart, and we actually pulled back and we held a higher low at 530 and we rallied, and we're still rallying here after market hours over that resistance from earlier, or right around that resistance at about 535, 536. So this is gaining some momentum, right? And I think, and you guys can see here on the hourly chart, I think overall 545 needs to break. And on the 4-hour chart, you guys can see that, right? 545 has been a resistance stemming back from the middle of November. So I think if that can break, that is where we're going to see a big move in Nvidia, probably back up maybe to 575, 580, heck, maybe even back to $600. So watch out for Nvidia here, ticker symbol NVDA. Another one is SBE, Switchback Energy. Again, like I said in the trading portion of this video, or rather the lack of trading portion since I didn't do anything today, but I said I wanted to get into SBE, but I didn't quite yet. And I'm looking for this maybe over $38. I mean, I could have bought in today, but we're still under a pretty big resistance at about $38, $39. So overall, what you are seeing on the 4-hour chart is SBE is holding the uptrending channel, right? Resistance, you guys can see it right here. Support. But if we zoom in a bit, we're still not out of the downtrend from the past couple of days. You guys can see it here on the 10-day, 30-minute, which is a bit worrisome to me. You guys can see it. We're not quite yet out of that downtrend, which again is why I'm waiting until about $38, $50, $39 plus to consider SBE. And honestly, I'd like to see it into the 40s. I think at that point we could get a nice momentum play. But you could also get it here. It just depends on whether or not you'd like to hold through some pain, or whether or not, if it goes down, that is, or whether or not you want to get in after it actually confirmed the breakout, right? So SB is worth watching for sure. Overall, it's beaten down a lot. It's got to be down over 20%. Yeah, it's down 26% from its peak here. So that is worth watching, in my opinion. Ticker symbol SBE. So the next one here is ticker symbol SQ, also known as Square, guys. And Square is one we've also been talking about, right? It hit 247, took a big beating from there down to about 210, 208 is where it got to. It held that 180 SMA 4-hour chart after that drop, which ended up being about 15%. And with today's day, we're well over that low point. We're actually trading well into the 220s now, almost into the 230 level. And with today's breakout, we also got over the 50 SMA on this 4-hour chart. We broke above it. So that's a very good sign here, especially if you're looking to get into the confirmation momentum, the bullish momentum, whatever you want to call it, right? That is what we're seeing here. So based on this, I can easily see Square continuing this momentum and maybe getting to the 230s. Well, it's already there, but mid 230s, high 230s, maybe even back to 240. That's kind of where I'm seeing Square going from here, especially with that break above the 50 SMA here on the 4-hour chart. So watch out for this continuation. I mean, if you guys think the party is over, the ship has sailed, I mean, yeah, it's up about 10% from its low, but it's still down. If you guys take a look here, it's still down about 10%, actually more like 7% from its high. So you could argue there is a little bit more upside here left in the tank when it comes to Square. So the next one is going to be DKNG, which also had a pretty good bounce back day today. Finally, right? We saw a relief rally. Finally, this has been beaten down. I mean, it went down from $56 all the way down to $44. And I mentioned in a couple of videos ago, maybe even the last video, my memory is kind of messed up right now, guys. I don't even remember. But we talked about DKNG recently, and we said, watch for $45. That was actually a resistance from back in June, also, you guys can see it here back in the beginning of November. It was a resistance back in the beginning of September as well. So we said this could be a spot where DKNG does hold and see some sort of rally. And today we got exactly that, right? But mind you, we're still under the 180 SMA and the 50 SMA here on the 4-hour chart. We're still overall potentially at a lower high here. You can see we are struggling under this 180 SMA on the 30-minute chart. So I'd actually like to see a break out of this for DKNG, preferably into the 49-ish territory, 48.50, maybe even back above 50 for me to even consider here DKNG, right? That could be a nice confirmation of the breakout. And then from there, maybe we get back up to 52, 53, maybe even 55. So I definitely do think it is worth watching here. DraftKings up to maybe the 52 level, like I said. That is ticker symbol DKNG. So the next one is Apple, AAPL, good old Apple. This one also went up 1.2% today. It's still down about $7 from its high, down about 5.7%, 6% almost, right around there. And overall, with today's price action and yesterday's price action, you can see it here on the 5-day, 5-minute. It seems like we are recovering at this higher low, and this could be a dip buy. This very well could be a dip buy on Apple, and especially if we're able to break out I would say above 132. If we can break 132, that is where I think we could fill this gap that you guys are seeing on the 5-day 5-minute from 132, maybe 132.50 up to about, let's say, $138. That could be anywhere from, let's say, a 4%, maybe even upwards to a 5% move here on Apple that could be made if we break this downtrend. And you guys can see on the 4-hour, this pullback's looking pretty juicy. And honestly, guys, if we do break that low from yesterday, right around 126, maybe, or even 130, 128, if we start to go back to those levels, maybe we do get to this 180 SMA on the 4-hour chart, right around 124, maybe 125. But then again, I don't know if that's going to happen. We just have to wait and see what it's going to do in this tight little wedge that it's in, with the resistance at 132 and support at about 126. And once we pick direction, we'll get a bit more clarity of where it could be going, at least in the short term. So that's Apple, ticker symbol AAPL. And the last stock here is ticker symbol TTCF, also known as Tattooed Chef, arguably the most talked about stock right now in the YouTube community. And honestly, guys, this one got a bit overbought. I mean, we went from $15, $13, $14 all the way up to $28 in the span of a month, maybe a little bit under a month. And you guys can see we got rejected at that resistance from back in September. We got rejected there in September once here and twice, so 2 times in September, as well as in the middle of October at about $27, $28. So we failed breaking out of that a couple weeks ago, and now we're down about $3, $4 from that peak, down about 12, 13%. And it seems like we are holding this 50 SMA on the 4-hour chart. In fact, we're seeing a lot of consolidation right around that $23 level. You guys can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days of consolidation on TTCF on that 5-day 5-minute chart and on that 4-hour chart as well. So what this is telling me is TTCF is waiting to make a move. And us looking at this from a bullish perspective, we want to see this break into the $24 level. In fact, over that $24.50 level. And that is where I think we could see that fill, the gap fill from $24.50, maybe up to $27. And honestly, that's a pretty hefty move. That could be around anywhere from 8 to 10%, depending on where you get in, where you sell. But overall, that's a pretty nice window there of profit to be made on Tattooed Chef. So that's it, guys. Hope you all enjoyed the video. If you did, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, join the Discord chat, the Facebook group if you haven't done so already. And also, don't forget to claim your 4 stocks from WeBull. Those are valued up to $1,600. And you could also get $30 from M1 Finance, and you can get those via the links down below. So I'll catch you all in the next video. Thanks for watching. As always, stay safe out there, guys. Keep crushing the markets. Peace out.